What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to PS5 Nexus. We are kicking off this week with an absolute explosion of news that you absolutely cannot afford to miss. The gaming world never sleeps, and neither do we, bringing you the most crucial updates as they happen. Get ready, because the information we've got today is going to shake things up, and you're going to want to be the first to know. From major game developments that are turning heads to critical reception that's dividing opinions, we've got it all covered. So buckle up, stay locked in, because you're about to get the inside scoop on everything that matters in the PlayStation universe. Let's dive straight into the hottest topics making waves right now. First up, a highly anticipated title is facing significant headwinds, with past controversies and current performance issues casting a long shadow over its reception. We're talking about a game that promised so much, but is now grappling with a reality that's proving far more challenging than anyone anticipated, leading to a lukewarm reception in key markets and disappointing player counts. This is a story of how past issues can resurface and impact a game's present, and it's a must-know for anyone following the industry's biggest releases. But that's not all. We've got more critical insights coming your way. Next, we're diving deep into the reviews for another major action RPG. The critics have spoken, and the verdict is complicated. While the core gameplay is getting praise, it seems the polish and narrative elements are falling short, leaving players and reviewers with a mixed bag of feelings. Is the combat enough to carry the experience, or do the story and character issues ultimately drag it down? We'll break down exactly what reviewers are saying and what it means for the game's future. And you won't want to miss what's coming next. Then, we're shifting gears to a unique multiplayer experience that's trying to carve out its niche, but is it worth your hard-earned cash? We're looking at a game that's priced for a premium, yet offers a limited experience, raising serious questions about value. Is this a hidden gem or a gamble that doesn't pay off? We'll dissect the pricing, the content, and whether this title can justify its cost in a crowded market. Finally, get ready for a rapid-fire update on what's dropping soon. The release calendar is heating up, and we've got the details on some major titles hitting our consoles in the coming week. From indie darlings to potential blockbusters, we're giving you the rundown on what to play next. Don't miss out on these crucial release dates. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to PS5 Nexus, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an update. Let's get this started. A past controversy clouds a new release. This highly anticipated action RPG, a flagship product of the PlayStation China Hero project, is finding itself in turbulent waters. Despite its ambition to introduce a global audience to Chinese game development talent, the game is experiencing a notably cool reception from Western gamers and, more critically, from its home country. The controversy stems from resurfaced disturbing messages from a former developer, identified only as Vivian, who served as an executive planner. In a private QQ chat in April 2024, Vivian expressed resentment towards PlayStation's involvement, claiming the game's completion was solely due to herself and Yang Bing, the original solo developer. These sentiments were unfortunately coupled with deeply offensive racial remarks, including a slur. While these statements did not gain widespread traction in Western media, they ignited a significant backlash among Chinese gamers. Yang Bing has since denied Vivian's claims and confirmed her dismissal from the studio. The fallout appears to be substantial, with reports suggesting the game has failed to regain the trust of its domestic player base. During a recent PlayStation China livestream, it was noted that only 4 copies of the game might have been sold, a stark indicator of its struggles. Furthermore, player counts on platforms like Steam, often a barometer for broader market interest, have also been disappointing, peaking at around only 3,000 players, which falls significantly short of expectations when compared to other PlayStation PC ports. Adding to these woes are persistent technical issues that have plagued the game since its early previews. Hands-on impressions prior to its release hinted at significant performance problems, and these have unfortunately carried over into the final product. This has resulted in mixed reviews on Steam, with players frequently citing underdeveloped characters, lackluster writing, and subpar voice acting as further detractions. While the development team is actively working on optimizing the game's visuals and addressing frame rate concerns, these gameplay and narrative shortcomings present a more formidable challenge. PlayStation's investment in the China Hero project underscores a strategic push into Chinese game development, highlighting the company's belief in the region's potential, even if this particular title struggles to emulate the success of other prominent Chinese-developed games. Audience impact. The community is abuzz with discussions about how past controversies and ongoing technical issues are impacting the game's launch, with many expressing disappointment given the initial hype. But that's just the beginning of our deep dive into the latest gaming news. Stay tuned as we unpack the critical consensus on another major title that's just hit the shelves. We're about to explore the reviews that are painting a very mixed picture for an action-packed RPG that's been a decade in the making. Mixed reviews surface for ambitious action RPG. After a decade in development, AltaZero Games' ambitious action RPG has finally launched, and the initial critical reception is proving to be a mixed bag. While the game boasts fast-paced, engaging combat, many reviewers are pointing to significant shortcomings in its narrative and character development that ultimately detract from the overall experience. On platforms like Steam, the game currently holds a mixed rating, a sentiment echoed by early critic reviews. For instance, IGN Spain awarded the game a respectable 7 out of 10, praising its fast-paced combat full of clever mechanics. However, they were less impressed with the story, describing it as forgettable and the characters as flat, lamenting that the game's world failed to capture their interest. Eurogamer Germany offered a more critical take, scoring it a 4 out of 10. Their review highlighted that while fans of precise, skill-driven combat may enjoy its encounters, everyone else will likely struggle to look past its flaws. Conversely, Gamersky provided a more positive outlook with an 8 out of 10, commending the 30 hours of pure, exhilarating action. Despite this praise for the gameplay loop, they also acknowledged that the story was not a strong point. As more reviews are expected to roll in, including our own comprehensive analysis, the full picture of the game's reception will become clearer. In response to the initial feedback, AltaZero Games has already announced plans for updates aimed at addressing several key areas. These planned improvements include enhancements to the game's sound effects, adjustments to early game progression to make it more accessible, and refinements to the control scheme. The game is currently available for both PlayStation 5 and PC, with a launch trailer and a free demo accessible for players eager to experience its combat firsthand. The developer's proactive approach to addressing feedback suggests a commitment to refining the player experience, but the core criticisms regarding story and character depth remain significant hurdles for the title's long-term success. The publisher for this title is Bandai Namco, with development handled by AltaZero Games, and it's available on PS5 and PC. Audience impact. Players on forums and social media are debating whether the game's strong combat can compensate for its narrative weaknesses, with many holding out hope for post-launch patches. We've seen how combat can shine while story falters, but what about a game that asks you to pay for a multiplayer experience with limited content? Get ready to question the value proposition as we dive into a new multiplayer title that might not be worth the price of admission. Multiplayer gamble. Is Midnight Murder Club worth the price? In today's gaming landscape, where free-to-play titles like Fortnite, Marvel Rivals, and Valorant offer immense content, asking players to pay for multiplayer-only experiences has become an increasingly risky proposition. The cautionary tale of Concord, which shut down less than 2 weeks after its launch, serves as a stark reminder of this market reality. Now, Midnight Murder Club enters this challenging arena, and its pricing strategy is raising significant questions about its value. Originally launched in early access for approximately $31.95 NZD, the game has since been reduced to $17.95 NZD on the PlayStation Store. However, this lower price point doesn't tell the whole story. Crucially, an active PlayStation Plus subscription is required to even access the game, pushing the total cost to around $34 NZD, effectively its original price. This pricing model is particularly concerning given the game's limited content. As of this review, there is only one map, a dark mansion, with no other environments available. This singular map, coupled with a deliberately dark aesthetic where players rely on a small, often insufficient torch, makes navigation and gameplay challenging. While a perk can temporarily improve torch brightness, the overall visual obscurity persists. The character and customization options are equally sparse. Players are assigned random characters with no distinct skins or memorable designs, a stark contrast to the visual flair seen in popular free-to-play titles. The game does, however, offer more than one game mode, a point of differentiation from some other premium multiplayer-only games that launched with a single mode. Midnight Murder Club features free-for-all, team deathmatch, wildcards, graveyard shift, thief in the night, and headhunters. Notably, only graveyard shift and wildcards include offline bots, with the other modes requiring direct human-player interaction. Wildcards, a chaotic PvP mode, allows players to earn cards that dynamically alter gameplay, such as shrinking player models or granting super speed, offering fun in short bursts. Graveyard Shift is a co-op survival mode where players must complete 9 rituals against AA-controlled enemies. While enemies are often one-shot kills, their sheer numbers make survival a challenge. The reliance on finding specific objects within the Dark Mansion in this mode can be frustratingly time-consuming. The PvP modes, unfortunately, suffer from a low player count, making it difficult to find matches quickly, a stark contrast to the rapid matchmaking experienced in titles like Helldivers 2. Ultimately, Midnight Murder Club fails to justify its price tag, offering a limited and often frustrating experience that is overshadowed by the abundance of content available in free-to-play alternatives. The verdict? A 5.5/10 with a strong recommendation against purchasing at its current price. Audience impact. Many players are expressing concern over the game's pricing and limited map count, questioning its value proposition against free-to-play competitors. We've seen a game stumble due to its price and content, but what's next on the horizon for PlayStation owners? Get ready for a quick rundown of the major releases hitting PS5 and PS4 in the upcoming week. September releases, big titles headed to PS5 and PS4. As we officially enter the Burr months, the gaming industry gears up for its most lucrative period, with major studios and publishers set to launch their flagship titles for the holiday season. The week of September 1st to September 7th is no exception, promising a significant influx of new games for PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 owners. A total of 18 titles are slated for release on the PlayStation Store during this period, including several highly anticipated games that have generated considerable buzz. These aren't just minor releases. The lineup features several AAA titles that are expected to make a substantial impact. Among the standout releases for the week is Hell Is Us, scheduled for September 4th on PS5. Developed by Rogue Factor, this action-adventure game is described as a Souls-like, but with a more accessible approach to combat. It aims to provide a more forgiving experience for players by incorporating more save points and generally less punishing gameplay mechanics. For those interested in trying before buying, a demo is currently available. Also launching on September 4th for both PS5 and PS4 is the much-anticipated Hollow Knight, Silksong. This sequel to the critically acclaimed indie darling has been in development for over 5 years, and its surprise release date announcement at Gamescom has only amplified player excitement. A physical edition release is also planned, further fueling collector interest. The sheer volume and quality of releases this week underscore the ramp-up towards the holiday season. Gamers can look forward to a diverse range of experiences, from challenging action-adventure titles to eagerly awaited sequels. The availability of DMOS and the inclusion of physical editions for some titles demonstrate a commitment to catering to different player preferences. This period marks a crucial time for publishers to capture market share and for players to discover their next favorite game. With such a strong lineup, the first week of September is shaping up to be a major event for the PlayStation community. Audience impact. Excitement is high among the PlayStation community for the upcoming releases, particularly for Hollow Knight, Silksong, with many eagerly awaiting the chance to play these new titles. That wraps up our look at the upcoming releases. But before you go, we've got a final recap of all the top stories from today's show. Stick around for a quick rundown of everything you need to know. That's all the news we have for you today. We covered a game facing controversy and performance issues, another action RPG with mixed reviews but solid combat, a multiplayer title with questionable value, and a packed release schedule for the upcoming week. Make sure to like this video if you found it helpful, subscribe to PS5 Nexus for all your PlayStation news, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next upload. Let us know in the comments which of these stories you're most excited about. And don't forget to follow us on all our social media channels for more updates throughout the week. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.